Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here again with a short bit of Torah inspiration sponsored by MEOR, Washington, D.C. MEORDC.com is our website. Check it out and see all the programs we offer at GW and elsewhere around the nation's capital. Misha Nichnas Adar Marbim Besimcha. We talked about that statement of the sages last week, that when the month of Adar arrives, we increase our joy in life. In fact, there's a special capacity to feel joy and simcha in life in this special month of Adar as the holy day of Purim approaches very rapidly. Last week, we talked about different sources of simcha, joy in life, the physical pleasure of the blessings of this world, intellectual pleasure of studying wisdom, the infinite wisdom of the Torah, many sources of pleasure, thank God. Here's an important one that relates directly to the holiday of Purim and the book of Esther, and that is the joy of finding a pattern in our lives, finding meaning and purpose, especially when before it had looked random and it had looked dark, and then the clouds part and there's light. That is the essence of the story of the book of Esther. For the events happened at a time very dark in Jewish history. The first temple had been destroyed. The second temple not yet created. We were still in exile. A decree of extermination went out from Haman in the Persian Empire, who was a friend of Achashverosh, the king. And it looked like we were done. It looked like God had abandoned us. And that, God forbid, is what we had thought as a people. And we were saved from that decree of an extermination. And after the fact, we looked back, Mordechai, Esther, and saw that in what it looked like just a random series of events and happy coincidences, we had been saved from this decree of extermination. But we saw in retrospect that there was a chain, link by link, of interconnected events, a pattern, a meaning. Indeed, God had not abandoned us, and He was behind the scenes, but He was there with His Hashgacha Pratis, His divine providence. That idea of at first seeming lost and in a world of random events, and then uncovering a pattern and a purpose and the closeness of God looking out for us as a people, that is the essence of the joy of Purim. A lot of college students that I work with use the word random a lot. It's a common word now. That's how Haman looked at the world itself. He cast lots, he threw dice to find what's the best day that I should exterminate the Jews. Life is random, life is a crapshoot. It looked that way to the Jewish people too. But no, we were saved by God, and we looked back at the events of Purim, and when Mordechai and Esther wrote up the story, they didn't have God's name specifically in the book of Esther, the only book in Tanakh in Jewish scripture that doesn't have it. But it was clear to those who looked after the fact that a pattern was there, that God had saved us. He was there all the time. That's a great source of joy in our own lives when things look random. But then if we look more closely, if we are a bit patient and we look back at a series of events, with God's help, we can see the pattern and the purpose and the meaning in our own lives and our lives as a Jewish people. And that is an incredible source of simcha.